Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. I'm glad to see you all. In this section, I will presentation about process strategy to fulfill the operation management midterm exam of Jakarta State University. Here with, okay, next section. In this section, I will tell you about submaterial. For the first, definition. The second, basic strategy. Third, characteristic of production process. Fourth, process design in the service sector. And the last, process strategy in services. There are definitions according to expert. First, Heiser and Render 2009. A process strategy or transformation strategy is an organizational approach to transforming resources into goods and services. According to Hemming and Nurjamuddin 2011, process strategy is also called transformation strategy with the aim of finding a way of producing goods and services that meet customer requirement and product specification that are within cost constraint and other managerial constraints. According to Pardede 2007, process strategy shows the characteristic of work to be carried out in the manufacture of goods or services. The process strategy shows the number and type of activities to be carried out, including the method of each implementation. Okay, for the next slide, basic strategy. There are 4 basic strategy. For the first, focus on process. This strategy has the characteristic of many varieties or types, but the volume of each type are small. The second, repetitive focus. It is a method of repeated production of a particular product, which same this type can be applied in heavy equipment assembly and motor vehicle assembly. For the third, focus on the product. Product model is not easy to change. Large demand, capital intensive. And the last, focus on mass customization. It is fast and inexpensive production that meets the unique and ever-changing demands of customers. Okay, you could look this picture. This picture is basic strategy. The two attributes of volume and variety of the output produced using only 2 dimensions allow up to draw a nice picture. Here we have volume on the x-axis and variety on the y-axis. Low volume, high variety is what characteristic the process focus. Medium volume, medium variety is used to describe the repetitive focus. For product focus, we think of high volume and low variety. The final strategy, mass customization, attempt to provide high volume and high variety. Notice that I also a poor strategy. On this picture, it would be low volume and low variety. You should be aware that these are a broad classification and there are various ways they can be implemented by different organizations. Okay, next. Focus on process. Focus on process. This strategy has the characteristic of many varieties or type, but the volume of each type or type is small. You can look at this picture for the example process focus. Example process focus, a hospital, especially the operating room suites, each surgery will be hopefully customized to the individual patient. Depending on the type of surgery, different flows through both the OR and the recovery process will vary substantially. Okay, there are the characteristics of the production process according to Heiser Z and Render B 2005, which focus the process. For the first, produce products in small quantities and high variety. Second, the equipment used has a general function. Third, operators have general and broad skill. Fourth, there are many work guides. 5. The supply of raw materials is relatively high compared to the value of the product. 6. The scheduling sequence is complex and pays attention to the balance between inventory, availability, capacity, and customer service. 7. Fixed costs tend to be high and variable costs are high. 8. The budget. 9. How finished goods are high compared to output. 10. Unit move slowly within the factory, and the last finished goods are usually produced to order and not stored. From the previous slide, we can conclude for the advantage of this process are flexible to change, save funds for machine investment, and the disadvantage of this process, sufficiently high investment for raw material inventory, work in process, and finished good for each type of product due to the large variety of products. Okay, the next, repetitive focus. Repetitive focus, this strategy has the characteristic of many varieties or types, but the volume of each type or type is small. When customer need more standardized goods or services in larger quantities, companies use iterative processing. Standardized results mean companies need slightly flexible equipment, so workforce skills are usually low, according to Stevenson and Chong 2014. In this picture, you can look for the example repetitive focus. The properties or characteristics of the production process that is interrupted by repeated focus are, in the long run, it is usually a standardized product with several options resulting from existing modules, special auxiliary equipment used at assembly line. Employees are fully trained. GIT inventory technique is applied. Unit movement is measured in hours and days. Finished goods are produced according to periodic forecasts. Scheduling is based on the development of various models of forecasting modules. Fixed fee depends on facility flexibility. Costs are usually known because beforehand. Repeated operation reduce training and change in work guides. GIT procurement technique are applied. Okay, next, focus product. Focus product, the third strategy is the product focus. For the examples, product lace, making potato chips, very few input for one particular product. I say regular salted chips. Product focus, the third strategy is the product focus. One, we want to keep making it for an extended period of time before switching over to a different style. The output variation might include change in packaging. The example I like is filling up Coca-Cola bottles. Once we start filling them up, we want to keep doing for an extended period of time. Suppose we decide that we should switch the line over the Diet Coke instead. The cost of switching from one product to another can be quite expensive in terms of both time and money. This is where the high fixed costs usually come into play. You can look for this picture. For the next, the characteristic of the production process that is disconnected from the focus on the products are, for the first, produce product with large quantity and low variety. Second, the equipment used has a special function. Third, scheduling is usually simple and establish a certain level of output rate that satisfies the sales forecast. Fixed costs tend to be high and variable costs low. Because fixed costs are high, costs are usually highly depend on capacity utilization. Semi-finished goods are low compared to output. Characteristic by rapid unit movement, finished goods are usually produced according to forecast and stored. Operators have not very broad scale. Work order and work guides are few because they are standardized. And the last, inventory of raw materials is relatively low compared to product value. Okay, focus on mass customization. It is fast and effective production that meets the unique and ever-changing demands of customers. Mass customization gives us product variety, knowing exactly what the customer wants and when the customer wants it. For the example, mass customization is the typical example used for mass customization is the computer. You ordered and it arrived a few days later to your home. Yes, in this picture you can look the picture. This is example for mass customization. The typical example used for mass customization is the L computer. Mass customization characterizes effort to produce a customized product with customer order or make to order as characterized by focus and the process. Okay, for the last, process strategy in services, separation, self-service, module, this is service, module, focus, automation, scheduling, and training. Separation, service is separate so that the customer must go to the place where the service is offered. For the example, bank. Self-service widely used by supermarket. Focus, limiting the service offered to customer. For the example, men's tailoring. Focus, module. Module services offered in package. For example, investment, fast food. For the next, automation, separate service that rely on themselves with various convenience. For the example, ATM, scheduling, accuracy in scheduling both with regard to time and place. For the example, proper employee, scheduling or at air ticket counter at 15 minutes interval. Training, a clarification and problem solving. For the example, investment consultant, tax consultant, education consultant. Okay, thank you for watching my presentation. I'm glad to see you all. Thank you for watching. Thanks for your attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.